Hi, I'm Susan Kennedy. I help women find their fabulous. It's inside, waiting to be unleashed. You know it and you can feel it. Well, I want to tell you today, I'm really excited. I am speaking for a large audience in September, a large group of women, and my talk title is Find Your Fabulous. Step into that bigger, grander version of yourself that you know is possible. And today, I just wanted to share something because well, one thing is I have a workshop coming up about tapping into your confidence once again. This means sometimes when you make a change in your life, maybe you've gotten divorced, your choice or his, maybe your kids have flown the coop and now you're just trying to figure out what you want to do. Maybe you've started your own business. Maybe you're in network marketing and you realize, wow, I'm tired of bugging my friends. This workshop, Tap into Your Confidence, will help you find that center again that's truly from your core. So you'll know who to be, what to do, and how to be your authentic self in all situations. It'll help you trust yourself again, that you can make the right decision. I know I speak with a lot of women who've been divorced, and a lot of them right now, frankly, don't want to date again, but those who do are a little worried that they can't trust themselves. So anyway, I'm going to post a link to the workshop. It's a week from Saturday. It's August 12th, right here in Plano, Texas. And if you want to sign up, there is still room. But today I wanted to talk to you about the number one thing keeping you from being on target to live the life of your dreams. The number one thing. And it's within your control. So I want to share a story though before I mean, it's a story about me when I was holding myself back from that bigger, grander version of myself because I knew it was there. I just didn't know how to get to it. I didn't know what it was. So anyway, right out of college, I became a social worker and I loved my job, everything but the pay. I loved the people. I loved the people I worked with. I loved the people I did work for. And I even loved the life of a social worker, except for the pay. So after 4 years there, I decided that I'm going to do something to support the calling in me that wanted more experience, more life experience, more travel, just to see more than the state of Virginia where I grew up. So I went and got a systems engineering certification. And back in the 80s, becoming a systems engineer, there were a lot of opportunities and the pay was really good. So soon after, I landed a job at EDS here in Dallas, where I now live. And I was so excited. I was 29 years old. I got a job. I created this opportunity for me to move to Dallas, and I was making 60% more money than I ever had before. And it was a new life for me. And I remember my family, I love my family, and they were looking out for my best, but they said, "You're 29 years old, you're single. Why are you moving away? You're too old to be changing careers." Just all this nonsense. I really felt like my life was just starting. And to be honest with you, it really was. Every time we do something new, our life is starting again, if it's something we choose and something we're creating. So I was excited. The world was my oyster at that time, and I got to go west of the Mississippi River, which I had never been. You know, I had my eyes on California next. So okay, so social worker to systems engineer. I was a engineer at my first company for 2 years. I left there for the next higher paying job, and I landed a great job at Steak and Ale. It was a coveted position. Great people, great working atmosphere. If anybody remembers the Bennigans, you know, we kind of had a Bennigans thing going on. We did a lot of fun things, a lot of young people. And the only thing is I really didn't like systems engineering. I really didn't like it. I didn't like being on call. I didn't like being woken up in the middle of the night to solve some logical problem. And but I did it because after work I had the freedom to be me. And me after work was going to the aerobic center and working out, going and playing volleyball, softball, basketball, being in tournaments all the time. That was my life. And I met my husband playing co-ed softball. So it has its benefits, ladies. So I'm going to fast forward though. We got married, and then I had my son, Cameron, who is an amazing young man. And I wouldn't give anything for the opportunity to have birthed him, to have known him, to grow up to know him. But as soon as baby was born in my life, I was 38 years old, working for American Airlines, which was a 45-minute to an hour trip every day, one way. My life as I knew it was over. It ended, and I became miserable. And I started getting angry and resentful because I could do a job I didn't love for as long as I needed to, as long as after work I knew when it stopped and I could go and do me. Okay? I could go and do the real me. And when my son was born, I didn't have that anymore. And that was life-changing for me. But what really happened is the longing and discontent of my job transformed, and I learned about the profession of coaching, and I was very interested. I knew that's what I wanted to be. So I went to coach training. So I allowed myself an opportunity to stay in corporate and do something for me, coach training, and then from there, I transitioned my positions within the corporations I worked in so that I was on the people side of business. I became a facilitator and trainer for cross-functional teams for a whole division at a big company, and I love that. I became a trainer in leadership development, and I love that. I became a human performance consultant, and I absolutely love that. And then those years were really good. And then in business, as always, things were changing pretty quickly, and I went back to the drudgery of business, the drudgery of marketing your business and going and selling these things and not the actual doing of them. And so I started to not enjoy my work anymore. And I still had this calling in me. And I know everything I did was preparing me for what I am to do, and still is, always will be. But the day the crap hit the fan really was a day I found out some things, and my husband and I almost got divorced. It was, we didn't almost get divorced, but there was a big falling out, and I really had one foot in the door either way. And that was a big wake-up call for me. It was a big wake-up call. And sometimes it takes a wake-up call for us to allow ourselves to want what we want. And that is the number one reason you are not on track to living the life of your dreams, that bigger, grander version of you that you know is possible, is you have not given yourself permission. I gave myself these little bitty incremental permissions along the way, and I kept making decisions from where I was, from the mindset of where I was, from the actual physical, what job do I have, how much does it pay, how much do we need, kind of thing. So I finally allowed myself to wake up and go, hey, what is it you really want? What would you love to be doing? And I got to answer that. I allowed myself to want what I wanted. I figured it out. It didn't take long because deep down inside, we all know what we want. We just don't allow ourselves permission to even say it. And if you can't say it, you can't have it. If you can't claim it, you can't have it. If you can't visualize it, visualize it. You can't have it. So I want to say this is a simple thing, but it's not that simple. Allow yourself to want what you want. And the question is, what should I be doing? It's not what I should be doing. What would you love to be doing? What would you love to be? Who would you love to be? What would you love to do? And what would you love to have in your life? Get clear on those things. Get your vision, and your vision will pull you towards them. But if you haven't given yourself permission, nothing's going to happen. So anyway, chew on that for a few days and look in your life and see where you're not allowing yourself to want what you want. And remember, the workshop on confidence coming up will help you with a little bit of that too, because some of the reasons we don't allow ourselves to want what we want is because we don't feel worthy. We feel guilt and shame if we do. You know, if we put ourselves first, sometimes we feel guilty. And so just know there are limiting beliefs that you can't help that you have, that we can uncover and deal with, and get you to that point where you are actually able to allow yourself to want what it is you want. And by the way, if you are around Dallas in September 10th at 11:30 in Irving, I will be speaking at the Dallas Women's Expo. And I would love for you to come out and support me. And I will have a booth at the expo Saturday and Sunday. And I will be doing 2-minute muscle testing to find out if you are ready for love again. So anyway, I look forward to hearing from you if this was helpful in any way. And I will talk with you next time. Bye-bye.